Here I am now, divorced, and Joel walked in, three-piece suit, and I just about fell off my chair. So I asked my girlfriend, "Who is that? Is he married?" She goes, "I don't know, go find out."
This is going to be a beautiful episode. It's about second chances in every sense of the word, a second chance at life, love, family, and the incredible ripple effect of generosity. It explores the power of faith, organ donation, and finding love after life's biggest challenges, including a kidney transplant, a liver transplant, and a breast cancer journey. Joel and Vicky's story is of healing, family sacrifice, unwavering faith, unexpected love, and remarkable resilience proves that hope is always stronger than fear. So let's listen in and hear how God can bring beauty from life's hardest moments. One day, you will tell your story of how you overcame what you went through, and it will be someone else's survival guide. So, Vicky, tell me a little bit about that. What inspired you to put that on Facebook?
What we go through is for a reason. It kind of molds us into who we need to be so that we can have that here and help the next person. We come out of the fire so that we can throw water on them or whatever you want to put it. It's true. Everybody goes through stuff. We all go through stuff. And so it's a matter of what you do with that. If it'll make you angry and mad at everybody all the time, or if you will use it for good to help the next person.
Excellent. I love that. And you're going to tell your story today. I always like people to meet the guests before they hear their experiences.
I'm the youngest of three and just had a really loving, wonderful family. A lot of music, a lot of laughter, a lot of dancing. We always got together and my dad played the drums, my grandpa was on the clarinet. Everybody had an instrument, grandma on the piano. We danced, we sang, and we played music. And it was just a very close, loving family. I'm just blessed.
Youngest of two, I had an older brother, who's 8 years older than me. We were a close family. We camped or went someplace every weekend. Had a great life growing up, and then just carried on through. So
His brother and my sister were both 8 years older than us and had the same birthday.
Really?
The same day, yeah. It's kind of funny.
What part of the country did you guys grow up in?
Bellingham, Washington.
Oh, okay. And you're still in
North Seattle. Yep.
so, and we're still there.
51 years ago, Vicky, your sister gave you the greatest gift. Can you tell us about that?
Oh gosh, I was young and stupid and didn't realize how serious this whole thing was. I'd been sick and I was newly married. I was told I couldn't have children unless maybe I would have my kidneys fail all the way and I had a successful transplant, then maybe. And so my sights were set on that. That's what was going to happen. I'm going to have a transplant, going to have babies, and that's the way it's going to be. But I did not realize that they just weren't doing them back then. That was really pretty new. When I finally got the call from my doctor that it's time to go to the hospital, my sister had already agreed to give a kidney. And we were told to go to the hospital. I was so excited. The doctor goes, Vicky, you're not going to Seattle for a new pair of shoes. And I was so excited to get this done. But when I got there and I realized I had 2.5 months in the hospital and 13 different people who were going through the same thing on the same ward actually passed away while I was there. So I started to realize the severity of what I actually had gone through. Like I said, it was pretty darn new. But mine has been a blessing, a success since day one. And I'm so lucky that never a falter, very strong and stayed strong the whole time.
And you did end up having babies.
I did. Funny story. When I came out of surgery, it was a working hospital. You have younger doctors that are learning and they all gathered around my bedside. We're talking about me. They told me how good it had done and started working right away. And I said, can I have a baby now? Can I get pregnant now? And the doctor patted my knee and he goes, "Why don't you wait till you get home?" I go, "Okay." I was at 2.5 months before I was able to get home. And it's been still perfect. 51 years now.
So you're living because of someone else's sacrifice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And last year, when it was 50 years, the University of Washington, where the transplant was at, called me and they did a whole gripping story on Channel 7 News about me. I'm in the 1%, the top of the longest living transplant patients. My sister lives in California and I was down there celebrating with her. And we had t-shirts that said, "Strong women only need one kidney." And my daughter was there. She was wearing one because lo and behold, 9 years ago now, she had her kidneys start to fail. And terrifying because what I was told that what happened to me was not genetic and couldn't be passed on. And yet here we are with Tara having hers fail. It was a real scary thing. And it turned out that my sister's daughter, stepdaughter, was able to donate to my daughter. So we have sisters and daughter, stepdaughter. She
Oh.
gave her kidney. It's a perfect match. And now she's on 9 years.
So it's coming full circle with her.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, like, where does your faith in God, like, how do you get through these types of things? These aren't just minor hiccups.
When I went in for mine, I knew I would be fine. God gave me such peace and confidence that I just knew it would be okay. And the nurses told me that my attitude and how I looked at everything was a big factor. It is. So they totally believe a lot goes on here and how you survive. It was much harder when my daughter
I can imagine.
was going in. So I was praying really hard on her father's side. She has 9 cousins that are all about the same age. And I kept praying that one of them would step forward to be tested. And not one of them would even try. So when I broadened out my prayer to the perfect person coming forward, that's when my sister's stepdaughter came forward.
Wow.
I just wasn't praying the right prayer.
Asking for the right thing. I love that. So, Joel, we're going to switch over to you now. 18 years ago, you needed a liver transplant.
Well, I'd been sick. Nobody knew quite what was wrong with me. It was about 2 years of just really suffering before they finally figured out was my liver was failing. And I'd had 2 uncles that died of the same thing. In fact, one was still alive when I had my transplant, but he wasn't qualified for a transplant, and he ended up dying from it. I was fortunate. They got me in. I had to quit work because I just couldn't function. We've got funny stories to tell because I had to take this medication to try and my brain would fill up with ammonia. Really affected you. And so I had to take this medicine that try to counteract that. But I was kind of delirious a lot of times. And she called me up and we have some funny stories. I couldn't change the channel on the television because I'm talking on it.
I was working about 30 miles south, and I always called to tell I'm on my way home. And he goes, "Oh, I'm so glad you're coming home because I'm so tired of watching the same channel." And I go, "Well, why don't you change it?" And he goes, "Well, how do I do that when I'm talking on it?" And I go, "Hun, I'm on my way. I'll be there soon."
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My last day at work, I drove myself to work, and I was the one that opened the store, and I put the A board out, and I came back in to get my laptop, and it wasn't there. So I went out to my car. My car was gone. I'd only been there for about 5 minutes, and where's my car? And so I'm just getting to picking the phone up to call the police, and one of my coworkers comes in. He said, "How are you doing? What's going on?" "Somebody stole my car." "What do you mean somebody stole your car?" "My car's not out there." He says, "Did you drive to work?" "Yeah." And I thought, no. Vicky had driven me to work. And the guy says, "I'm calling your wife." So
Yeah.
I went home. I was not fit to work. I finally did get on the list, and it moved really fast. I was only on the list for what, 3 or 4 months?
Yeah.
You got to do a lot of qualifications before you get on the list. And I did all those things. That was about 8 or 9 months. But once I got on the list, I was only on for a couple, 3 months. And right in, yeah.
That
So-
can be scary.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, Liz, you think about it, a liver transplant, if it doesn't go, there's no liver machine.
Right, right.
So where if a kidney doesn't go, you've got a kidney machine and you can wait till the next transplant. But
Yeah.
His was a one and done. It had to wish. So that was very scary.
One of my former neighbors, he had the same psychologist I had. You have to go through a psychologist before you qualify it. And he was in the hospital waiting, and then he died in the hospital. So that kind of touched home, you know. But I never had any doubts. I went in, we had the surgery, which went great. You don't realize how sick you were until you felt well. I mean, you just can't, you're so sick, you couldn't even, it didn't even measure. And the next day I woke up, I saw the tubes in me and all that. I felt good. So I was elated. And then they came in and told me that they had to open me up again because they couldn't get a read through an ultrasound of the artery going to the liver. So they had to open me, which was kind of a downer. But they put me in and did it, and everything was fine. I was 5 or 6 days, and I went home. About 3 or 4 weeks later, I was doing great. She had an opportunity to go on a cruise, Caribbean cruise, with one of her girlfriends for really cheap. So I said, just go. So she went, and the night she came home, I got seriously ill at midnight, where she had to call an ambulance. They took me to the hospital and ended up transporting me back to Seattle. And they thought my liver had failed, had rejected. And the doctor walks out and he said somebody left a sponge in him. So yeah, that opened up a can of worms. I had
How many surgeries?
6 surgeries in a year and a half. Major surgery.
You guys.
2 ambulance rides and a helicopter ride to Seattle. And I spent a lot of time down there. I ended up having come out with 2 ostomy bags, which they were able to reverse. And I've done fine with that.
Our first 5 years together was rough because this is what we were going through.
Yeah.
And then I got breast cancer, and one of the chemo drugs I got may cause heart failure. So this was all happening as he's going through his surgeries. So we had a rough few years.
I had a really long recovery. I didn't drive for 3 years. I lost my memory. I couldn't remember things. It was really tough, but I built my memory. I mean, I remember things I had no idea I even knew. I'll hear somebody sing something. I know who it is. I never did that before. You know, she gets bugged because how do you remember that? Sorry to say, I remember pretty much everything. It's funny because she said, I don't remember that. Well, that's a surprise because. But anyway, I'm fine now. I go in and get my physical. I just had mine, and everything comes back perfect. They keep reducing my anti-rejection meds where I'm hardly taking anything anymore. They just keep doing what they're doing. You know, for being almost 75 years old, to hear that kind of a report it makes you feel really good. But
you asked me about my faith, and I want to throw this out there because, you know, I would always call him as I'm heading home for his transplant. And he tried to talk to me, it's not making any sense. So I'm going, okay, I know what it's going to be like when I get home. I'm going to have to give him the medicine. He's sick. And I was having a conversation with God. Well, I was talking at God, basically saying, God, I know I prayed for a husband as I needed. I wanted to be loved again. I know I prayed for a husband. But this was not my plan. And instantly I heard, but it was mine. I knew it was my job to be with him as he went through this and that he was going to get through it, you know, because that was God's plan. I'm here I've had my transplant to kind of know a little bit about it. And now I'm here to help him through it, even though it was a different organ. Yeah.
I never had any doubts. In fact, I was in Peace Health in Bellingham one period of the time, and the chaplain came in and sat with me. And after a while, she says, you know, I'm really glad I came in here. I was so I was having a bad day. But she's got a really bright dad. Says, you've such a strong will and such a strong spirit. And I just told her how I felt. You know, I was never afraid, not once.
Well, you had Jesus walk with you.
Well, I did. When I was walking when they were doing something with some of the difficulties I had. Yeah, he was walking right alongside of me.
Oh,
So
I love to hear that. You've walked down roads that most people never will. But one thing I do have to say, he didn't bring you two together to have it end.
no.
There was a purpose and a reason. So, yeah, thanks for sharing that, you guys. That's really powerful. I love that. So, and I know, Vicky, on Facebook, you also said you thank God every day. What are the little things today that you two never take for granted? And then we're going to dive into your love story and how you met.
My family, I never take them for granted. I have been blessed with grandparents and uncles and aunts and cousins and my own family, my brother and sister. So close. We are so, so, so close. And so every morning I thank God for the day and to watch over my family. And thank you for providing me such an amazing family.
They're your tribe.
Absolutely.
And then you pulled
Yeah.
Joel into it.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of tribe left on my side. I've got a daughter that lives out of town that I don't see all that often. I have a son that has special needs, doesn't live that far away, but he's kind of in his own little world. I speak to him numerous times a day, but that's about as far as it goes. But yeah, so I'm a member of their tribe, and it's great. It really is.
Absolutely love your story. And I felt your sincerity and your faith in God. If you don't have that, there's like nothing to live for, right? Honestly, another miracle, you found each other to carry through these difficult times. So how did you guys meet?
We knew each other in junior high, and she was way out of my league. Yeah, I mean, we were
Silly,
I
right?
didn't say we were friends, we were acquaintances. I just felt I was just way, she was way above me as far as I was. I was very shy around girls. I really did not, I never had a lot of experience with them.
And I
So,
thought he was cute, but he was shy. I smiled and he just kind of turned the other,
yeah, so
I know that feeling, Vicky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you do. That's right.
Were you in the same grade?
yeah, we were in the same,
Oh, okay.
yeah. We saw each other all the time, and then years go by, and she worked at the YMCA, and I used to work out at the YMCA, so I'd see her there once in a while. And that was about the extent of our relationship.
The one time we saw each other at the Y, he and another guy were coming up the stairs and I was going down. I was working, I had stuff in my hands and I got the heel caught in the hem of my skirt and I fell all the way down right past them. They just kind of turned and watched me fall down to the bottom of the stairs.
We didn't let you go to the bottom of the stairs. We the kind of guys you think we are.
Oh, I know. I was in the landing when I finally, I didn't hurt myself, except I felt really stupid.
As we've gone together, she has a tendency to fall. Hasn't for a number of years, but had a tendency to fall down a lot.
Very graceful.
Oh, yeah. I make it part of the dance.
Yeah. We were walking to a ride at Disneyland, and the porter says, "Now, moms and dads, hang onto your children's hands. You can stumble here." She was down.
First one. Yeah.
Oh, Vicky.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's
I don't know
better.
what to tell you.
Not better.
So we actually reconnected at our 30th class reunion. Not at the reunion itself, at the planning meeting.
I've always
More fun than the reunion.
always been on the planning meetings, and she never could go. Her husband wouldn't let her go.
No, my husband never let me out of his sight.
And he went to a different school.
Yeah. So we never, yeah. And
Well, that's
so,
another thing. I did know him really better than I knew her because he was a neighbor of a good friend of mine since I was young. So I knew him for a long time before and didn't think much of him. He had 4 brothers that were okay, but he was really a jerk. And I see him out in the parking lot with her at high school. And I, don't do this. I felt like I should go out and tell her who this guy is. You don't know him.
yeah, I found out later.
He's the smiley, good-looking jock, but it's not who he is.
Yeah. But
I never did.
but it was worth because I have 2 beautiful children from him, so I'll take it. But here I am now divorced and I can go to the reunion committee meetings. And Joel walked in and I hadn't really seen him, but he walked in a 3-piece suit and I just about fell off my chair. Hunt for Red October. Do you know that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Sean Connery.
Yep.
The first scene when Sean Connery comes on and he is like, oh my God, so good looking. That's what I thought of. It's like, oh my gosh. And so I asked my girlfriend, who is that? She says, Joel Hagen. I go, no. Not what I remember from school, right? And so I go, is he married? She goes, I don't know. Go find out. So as it turned out, he was in a
Weird state.
very, bad, try to get out of it, but I can't, marriage on and off, try to get out, try to leave it. So I had already finished doing several sessions of divorce recovery workshops with a book called Rebuilding When Your Relationship Ends. Great book. So I thought, well, I happen to have a book I could share with him to help him through this, because this is a great book. And I taught it for like 2 years at the church. And so we met for coffee so I could share this book. And we just kept meeting for coffee. And then it was meeting for wine. And
Yeah,
Who made the first move? First kiss?
I did. But I tell you, it took me a long time to do it.
a long time.
We actually, the night before our high school reunion, they helped us have a big party the night before, and all our classmates were there. But we ended up spending most of the night talking to each other
And dancing,
and
yeah.
dancing. And I walked her out to the car. I was really tempted to do it then, but that's not appropriate, so I did not.
And I wasn't even really thinking of that quite yet. But then the meetings continued and the attraction continued and meetings continued. And it was just so meant to be. I had already decided, I mean, I dated a lot after divorcing, have fun. And then all of a sudden it wasn't fun anymore. And I decided I wasn't going to even bother anymore. I'm done with all this. So I'm like done. I figured, okay, I've got a nice house. I have my kids. Everything's good. I don't need anything more.
Yep.
I'm done. Right? You really, yeah. So until he walks in at that meeting and I'm going, whoa, my gosh. Maybe there's something else going on here. So 26 years later.
Yeah.
So how did blending families go? How did that dynamic work out?
Well, my kids were older and moving out, and Tyler's in a special needs home. We all get along.
And my daughter was going away to university. Actually, when I left, she left and moved in with her godmother. And
Yeah.
That was the relationship she had with her mother.
She wanted to get out of that house.
She is very on top of everything. In fact, I just got back from Europe again. She went to school in Europe. She worked in Europe, lived in Europe, and now she lives in Tacoma, but she's been in several startup companies and done very well. She could retire right now if she wanted to, but she just loves the challenge. So she hasn't really been in the picture with us that much, unfortunately. We've got a granddaughter now, but it's just their schedule and our schedule. We just don't get together that much. So really that hasn't been a problem. Her son lives here in town, but her daughter lives in Kirkland, so it's a ways away.
But he joined the tribe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Part of the tribe. So there's that.
So you guys have been through all of this. What things do you think couples argue about that just don't seem important?
Well, the things we do argue about are just stupid, silly things, really. Honestly, it's just like hearing.
Like what he doesn't hear and what I don't
I
hear.
hear everything. So it's
If you would just say a little louder, or if you wouldn't, that, which is pretty common at our age. So
yeah, it's no, like you say, we were meant to be with each other. I don't think I would have survived my last relationship because she was always there for me. My first wife was not so much. She just didn't care. That was part of the thing. I just never felt validated. I never felt respected. I think I was the only guy that she ever went out with. She was the only girl I ever went out with. We were engaged for 7 years. We just never pulled the trigger. I was building my career. I wasn't worried about looking for anybody else or anything. Your parents are just bugging you and bugging you and bugging you. When are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? So you just marry the one you're with. And I do remember it was not a happy day. I don't remember, it was just, let's just get it over with. It was a big, huge church wedding and it was amazing. I just was glad to get it over with. And it was just that was our relationship. We adopted 2 kids at birth, which that was a wonderful time. But then my son being in special needs, that put a lot of pressure on the family. And she didn't react well with it. And her family was that way. They always reacted poorly with things. She kept a lot of secrets from me. I mean, big secrets about her family that there's no reason to do that to your spouse. She inherited money. It would never tell me where it was. Not that what was I going to do? What am I going to do? Go spend it? No, you just don't need to know. What kind of relationship do we have?
not a good one. No.
I just tolerated it because that's what I did. But I got to the point that I can't do this anymore. This is crazy. And like I say, my daughter left right after I did and moved in with her godmother. She couldn't stand to be there. And she told me a couple of years ago, she still goes to counseling because of her mother. Her mother, she had a poor childhood. Her mother was very abusive. I mean, I saw that a lot. She'd come up to babysit the kids. And Maureen would come out, I thought she looked pretty good. Her mother would say, "You're not going to go out dressed like that, are you?" That was
Sounds like my first husband.
Yeah, that's the way she grew up. So she just had to abuse people.
I had my first husband. He'd look at me in the morning and goes, when I see you in the morning, I remember how old I'm getting.
Yeah.
We were the same age.
Oh, Vicky. No. Well, I can relate to that as well because I've been there too.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that we have in common here is when you look back at that other relationship into this new one, it's like, I had no idea how good it could ever be. I was in survival mode. I don't know about you two. It sounds like it.
Oh, I know what you're
Like,
talking.
it's like freedom.
I went to counseling after he actually had an affair and left. He went through midlife and left with some girl that he worked with that's like 16 years younger, right? So, but anyway, I went to counseling and talked about all the things he had said to me and things he had done. And he goes, "You do realize that's abuse, right?" And no, I didn't know. I just figured that is just how it was. But
What you're used to. And
yeah,
outside of that. Yeah.
You just accept it.
I was never young enough, thin enough, pretty enough. I didn't cook good enough. I didn't do anything well enough. Couldn't play the piano well enough. I couldn't do anything. So I stopped doing everything,
You lost yourself.
I did. Thank you. That's exactly right. And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, who is Vicky?" And so I kind of remember driving home, but not really. But the first time I remember Vicky being Vicky, I was on the football Rooter bus and Hey Jude was playing on the radio.
Oh.
We're talking a long time ago. Right? Probably right before I married him, because when I married him, I became his wife, not me anymore. So yeah, I totally lost myself. And I decided that would never happen to me again. And it is, he supports me so much that I could do anything. We support each other. And that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I'm doing an art show next weekend away from town. We're staying away. I usually do them all locally, but we're going to spend 2 nights away. And she's been with me and my sidekick helped set up. And I can't even imagine that before. That would never have happened. I've been totally alone. I had a business. I was north of town. And I would call on my way because we live south of town. And I would call before I'd leave and see if she needed anything. I could stop at the store or whatever. And I would come home and the house is in a total turmoil. My son is off the wall and he would get very angry and destructive. I walked in the door and says, "See what I put up all day while you're at your job? I'm running a business. It's not a job."
And then your daughter told you.
And then my daughter says, "Dad, you call mom and she just hits Tyler's hot button. But when she figures you're about 5 minutes away, just so he's going when you come home." She says, "I really wish you guys would get a divorce so I can get out of here." I mean, that told me a lot right there. She did it on purpose. And it was unfortunate to my son.
It was really sad for the son because he was, not being respected or treated right at all. So fortunately, when we met, I was working for the Department of Social and Health Services under developmental disabilities. And I was able to find a home where he could go to and be respected and live with other clients to get all the services that he had a right to have.
Well, that wasn't how it worked, though. She actually went to try and find something for him. She was working for the school district in LaConner.
Oh, yeah.
And she was looking for something. And she went to see the Department of Social and Health Services. She went through an interview and they found the services for Tyler. And then they offered her a job.
That's
and that's where she worked and retired from.
Forgot.
So it got her the job. But my ex did not want to participate in any of that. Prior to that, I had gone to Catholic Community Services just because we needed some help. We could not do anything. And I talked to him, and we were Catholic, but they didn't care. And they offered all these services. She refused any of it. Not one bit.
I'm sorry.
That's crazy. Why?
Yeah.
That was the best thing that ever happened to him. Got him into another home with situation, people trained to deal with it. His violence is gone.
He kept him violent. She really did.
She
To
kept
keep
violent.
him trapped.
The last time he came and stayed with her here in Bellingham, he lives in south of town. They got in a fight and he hit her. Well, of course, then the cops got involved. So we go to the hospital And they come in and say, well, we're going to have to put him in treatment unless somebody says otherwise. I said, no, he's treatment. He needs to go someplace. He would want to go someplace. He doesn't want to be like this. And so she came in and said, no, I'll take him home. Well, once you say that, you're out the window. They're not going to offer you anything. They're off the hook. And that's what she did. And we got to do something different.
Oh my goodness, you guys. Wow. What a hero you are for him.
Yeah, we needed to do something for him because he was not being treated right.
Yeah, he's been doing just fine.
So it's been quite an interesting 26 years.
Call it a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah. But we look back and things are so wonderful. And we'll look back and go, can you even remember what it was like before? It's like, I can't believe that's how it used to be for us. So
it's been a roller coaster, but it hasn't been between us. It's just the stuff we've gone through.
The health.
Exterior. Yeah. It's not that's exactly right. When one of you has a difficult day, how does the other support? Because everybody has a bad day. How do you guys support each other in those moments?
We're both kind of semi-pro practicing psychologists, so I had to know people's psychology.
No, I
So
used up my degree.
we're always trying to analyze what's going on and try and get him to see it. It doesn't really. Then we got to throw some human.
You can bring me a glass of wine.
Nice.
Yes. But no, we can talk about it, because of the past. I make sure if something's bothering either of us, I hit it head on right away. Yeah. You got to get it out right away. If you let it fester and go, then it can build into something this big. Right. When it was really only this big and usually a misunderstanding.
Right.
Yes. And that's the thing with my last relationship. We never talked about it. She refused to talk about anything. But it was funny when my daughter got married. They got married in Mexico. I got up, and that was the crux of our talk to them. The parental advice. Talked about everything. It doesn't matter what it is. I made a big deal about that. And her mother was there. I don't know if she saw the point, but
when Brian and I reconnected, we decided that once a week or however often we need, when we first started out together as a couple, that we would invite a marriage therapist into our relationship because we're like, this is too important. And I don't know if you guys felt this way too when you reconnected. It's like all those years that we lost that we could have been this happy. It's kind of like a mourning process. You go through like what could have been but isn't. And we're just grateful we have each other now. So there was a little part of that. Our therapist helps guide us through those emotions and feelings. Is like, you should feel them. You need to learn how to complain without criticizing, and it's just like communication, talk. And I don't know why it happens, but we talk best in the middle of the night.
She won't let you do that. I try.
So busy during the day, and then it's, oh, wait a second, I remember I needed to tell you. Anyway.
Your schedules are insane. Ours are bad enough, but yours are insane. I don't know. So whatever you could do, that's great. But
in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you got to talk about whatever it is right away. Right away. Don't let
it doesn't fester.
Yeah.
Okay, great advice, you guys. So I want to do this really quick, rapid fire. So beach or mountains?
Beach.
Sweet or salty?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Sorry.
Salty.
Yeah. Potato chips with the dip. Yes.
Morning person or a night owl?
Night owl.
Who is more likely to say, I told you so?
I think it, but no.
Yeah.
Who's the better cook?
Oh, him.
Well, I don't know. She hardly ever cooks.
Nice.
I don't cook because I know he can. Oh, he's so good.
Nice.
You saying that made me do it.
Bonus. So who's more stubborn?
She would be stubborn.
Yes.
Who apologizes first?
That's a tough one.
Oh, I don't know. Probably me.
We both do.
We'll take accountability. Yeah. So who is the better driver? Be honest. He's laughing.
When she drove me to Seattle, it was like, I felt like I was just, oh my God, I couldn't. But if I was in a wheelchair, it was even worse. It was world's worst wheelchair.
I'm not good at pushing wheelchairs.
Crashing into walls, the doors, what have you.
It was my defense. It was a big wheelchair.
Real
Big one.
size of one.
Okay, so who takes longer to get ready? Who is more sentimental?
Oh, that's a tough one. He's very sentimental.
Oh, I love that.
I am too, but boy, yeah, I get roses and I get petals and I get light, candles lit, and all sorts of wonderful things.
That's romantic. That's not sentimental.
Where
But I'm sentimental.
Yes.
I get
our first song. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And what is your favorite date night?
Any night.
Oh,
My favorite date night. Oh, I don't know what we're gonna do for his birthday, the end of the month. Great place. It's on the channel. It's beautiful.
beautiful, beautiful. That's romantic.
My favorite place. It's a very popular channel between two islands, and it's full of boats, and it's just a really cool place.
Yeah.
Neat
Well,
little
that does
town.
sound romantic.
Yeah.
It is.
Fun little shops. Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Restaurants.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know, what is the best advice you've ever received?
Just never give up.
Yeah, that is what mine's a little deeper. It was the trials and tribulations that you have. Take it and apply it. You can help the next person. What were we talking about with all this? I've gone through all this so that I could help somebody else with it. But don't let it take you down. Just put it there. So, yeah, all the abuse and things from the first marriage. When I hear somebody else saying that they had that happen to them, I'm able to talk to them about, you must have felt this way or that way.
Sympathizing. Yeah.
Right. And so I was told to do that, not let it fester, but to put it in your heart and save it for when it is necessary to help someone else.
There you go.
Advice I like to give. I had a great dad, and he was a great teacher. He was a carpenter, and I was planning on following in his footsteps. I ended up in the car business. My neighbor got me involved with it the day after I got out of high school, and he was hard on me. I didn't realize that he was actually grooming me to take over the business. But I remember there was things I would do, and I remember there was days I wanted to just leave because he was so hard on me. But I learned so much. I would be doing something. I said, "Thank you, Buzz, for telling me, teaching me this, making me do it." It's just something I didn't want to do, but now I can do it. It's just, take what you get and take it, and try to get my son to realize that, and he gets a job. It's because they like you and they respect you and want you to do something. They're not doing it to be mean. And that's what it is. It's trying to help you see things. So
Ask you one more question, but before I do, what's one word that you would describe one another?
Integrity.
Oh, that's an honor. That's honorable. That's kind of rare these days.
Yeah. Well, he is rare.
That's a huge compliment.
she's really loving. She's loving.
30 years from now, or 50 years from now, 100 years from now, when your great great grandkids are telling your story, what do you hope they say about the two of you?
We get involved with things. We don't troop through things. We're both involved in Lions Club largely.
Community. Yeah.
And my work, we've always got things to do. I'm always doing this artwork. That's what brought me back to life. Actually, was when I started doing these, turn and paint, using the lathe. That's what got everything back. Everything. It got me to get my cognitive hand-eye coordination, my thinking ability, my memory. I had made enough product. I had no idea what to do with it. I couldn't talk to people. I hadn't driven. It wouldn't go anywhere. And a friend of ours who's an artist, got us to go to an art show down south. And I was scared to death. And they opened the gates, and this first guy walked in, and just like that, it all came back. I was in the car business. I was social. I was with people all the time. And I had lost all that. And it was back in an instant.
I'd like my family to remember us as very loving and caring people. That we were there. If somebody needed something, we're there to help them. I think that's really important,
Yeah, passing on a legacy to those. And you guys have just been through so much together. You guys need to write a book. Have you thought about that?
I want to write a book about my experiences in the car business. So, because I've had a lot. I worked
Crazy
I
stories.
worked in one dealership for 30 years, and people don't do that. So I had a huge spectrum of people come through my doors, and I could write about them and their personalities and their traits. But yeah, we've thought about it. It's just our life, and we lived it and survived, and
We're still living it.
So
And he turns 75 the end of next month.
Really? You look great.
I turned 75 last February. So I'm older.
You're the cougar.
I am.
You got
I'm
your
on-
guy.
I take that as an honor.
It is.
I wear it proudly.
Well, Vicky and Joel, thank you so much for taking the time to sit and chat with us. Your story is amazing, and I have been eager to listen and find out all the details. You're a living example of, or the best parts are on side B, even with extra parts. Literally. You're living proof. So thanks for taking the time. I appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Bye-bye.